Hi, Lee Phillips here. I want to talk to you about estate taxes for a minute. Federal estate taxes, you're not probably too worried about because right now, under Trump's new tax laws, you can die and pass 11.4 million this year. It goes up a little each year according to the cost of living. Actually, that's a couple of $100,000 each year. But even after 2025, on January 1st, 2026, it will revert back to what it was on January 31st, 2017, which is 5.6 million. So even at 5.6 million, a lot of people aren't too worried about estate taxes at the federal level. However, there are a number of states that have state estate taxes. That means that the dead guy out of his estate pays a tax. That's different than inheritance tax, which you pay when you inherit money from somebody else. And a number of states have inheritance taxes. That's another story. But the states that have estate taxes, that's a lot lower than the federal limit. The federal limit is what we call the exemption equivalent. That would be the 11.4 million, for example. The exemption amount, the amount that is exempt from the estate taxes, equivalent to the credit they give you, and it's complicated. But the states have $1 million, $1.6 million, $2 million as the exemption amount. So if you live in a state, and you're going to have to check it, we have a chart up, and we'll send it to you if you want. We'll put a link, and you can, and we'll email it to you. We continually update that because the states continually change what they're doing. Some states go on, some states go off. For example, Minnesota, when Prince died, it was, oh my gosh, Minnesota took 41% of Prince's estate. Remember Prince, the singer? Back then, Minnesota had a 41% tax over anything over like $1.6 million. So he got the first $1.6 million free. But they've since dropped that to, I believe, 16% over $1 million, $1.5 million, whatever it is. And that's about where most states pitch their estate tax. Now, the estate tax is paid on the property in the state owned by the dead guy. Actually, any property owned by the dead guy, even if it's not in that state, is included in that state's estate tax. You die in the state, you pay tax on everything you own to the state. With the exemption, the first $1 million, first $2 million, whatever it is, going under the boards being taxed zero, no tax. So the estate taxes for states is a consideration if you live in the right states. And by the way, maybe you ought to move your property out of that state. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the states, New York, New Jersey, that have big state estate taxes, people are leaving them. No questions asked. So you could think about it anyway. Now you can set up the A-B trust. Create the two trusts when the first spouse dies. So you're going to bring the amount that the state will let the first individual have. That's the exemption equivalent. And that's going to go in the shelter trust, the B trust. And we've got A-B split videos and stuff. But you're going to shelter that amount, the $2 million, the $1 million, whatever it is, in the B trust. The rest of it goes over into the A trust, which is the marital trust. So I get the $2 million for this guy, and the $2 million for the spouse, so I can pass $4 million to the family without estate tax in the state. Now, the federal government right now has portability. Even if we don't have the A and the B, we can file a tax return at the first death, an estate tax return, and the second spouse, the surviving spouse, can claim or can port over the 11.4 million so that they get 22.8 million when they die. States don't have portability, so the only way you can do it is to set up the A and the B trust and make the split at the death of the first spouse. But that allows us to get twice as much down to the family without having to pay the state estate tax. So it's worth doing, guys. 16% of 2 million ain't chicken feed in my book. Piece of paper with a signature, not a bad deal. But you got to do it before either mom or dad dies, or you or your wife, husband. So think about it. If you live in one of the states, and like I say, follow the link and we'll email you the list of the states. And so you'll know which state you're in. So this is Lee Phillips talking about state estate taxes.